part on whether we can allow for postponement. Because my thinking is, even if Kiambu and who was the other one who was summoned, Kiambu,
Mombasa.
and Mombasa, they should even have honored by paying the fine. Because we had not directed the Inspector General of Police. They should have said, okay, we would have appeared, but because we are attending a summit, let us try and discharge the summons by paying the 500,000 to show the goodwill.
No, we didn't impose a fine on them.
We are not impose a fine on them.
Yeah.
Then the question is, how do we discharge the summons vis-a-vis the postponement? I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I think past experience has been that even where we have issued summons, if there are compelling reasons, and those compelling reasons must be to the satisfaction of the committee. And I think there have been one or two instances where we do not lift the summon, but we just vary the date, the time and place of appearance to accommodate whatever reasons have been adduced. But it has to be to the satisfaction of the committee. So yes, once we have issued summons and once a resolution has been made that we are summoning an entity, I do not think that that summon can be reversed unless there's another resolution by this committee. The only thing that can happen is variation of date, either administratively. It could be administrative, maybe because the summons went out late. Because sometimes we want someone to appear in 7 days, but then the internal processes take 3 days. So then it's not possible for them to appear on that day. So there are those administrative elements. But then there's also a situation where the person summoned acknowledges, but says, on this date, I had this other engagement. And if we find that that engagement or that explanation is sound and grounded in law, it is within our discretion. We can vary the dates. It's not necessarily lifting the summons. It's just changing the time and place of appearance. Senator Ogwa?
Thank you, Chair. I think then borrowing from what you have just said, I think a meeting of the summit is an important meeting, if you ask me. Happens only once in a year and is scheduled. Maybe the governor would have no recourse. I mean, there is no way of asking the organizers of the meeting to postpone it or accommodate him in another way. And because you made it very clear to us, and that is a law, that you can never lift summons. That obligation must be discharged. You can only vary at the date of discharging that obligation. So, Chair, so that we don't spend a lot of time on it, I would be persuaded to vary the dates for all the governors that were supposed to appear on the date of the summit, and then we take different dates for the governors. Chair, I submit.
Okay, is there any contrary view? Because this could be a quick decision.
Chair, that is the direction. Do we put it across after Christmas, or there is any other space around between now and Christmas?
I would propose we push it to January, because already we are running into some technical difficulties. I'm actually surprised that we have beverages, because when there are games, the Parliament shifts.
Chair, yesterday we did not have. You've come with them, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they check whether the chair is there.
But Chair,
Don't be seeing these things until you
the budget
appear
of Parliament
today.
was raised to 40 billion in this year. And you know, when they closed down for 1 month, kuna wazee wanakula kikao.
But you should you should see the cars the leaders are driving.
Correct.
They are brand new.
They are brand new.
Showroom cars. That's where
Yes.
the money went to.
And most of them are
Chair.
Clarity.
You see that looking this direction. My car is in the garage. I mean,
It's already in the garage.
your official car or personal?
No, I thought that everyone has a brand new the VX and
Yes.
LC300. No, actually, all of you. This,
But the budget they normally do is 12 months. It is not 11.
Yeah.
They are eating 1 month. And that is why these beverages and everything are not there.
think so.
No, but I thought.
Yeah, they have even Kalwale was driving a brand new.
No, your car is definitely bugged.
No,
I'm not going
we
in
didn't
there.
want to give them the new ones. They would disturb us.
Yeah.
So it should break down on the way.
Okay, back to the point. I wanted to propose that the first week when we resume, we deal with all these entities that have been summoned, and there are quite a number. And as we have said clearly, that once a committee resolves that summons are issued, it cannot be lifted, not administratively, not from the office of the clerk. Any change in terms of that directive can only be done by the committee sitting as plenary. So we could push these two entities to January, but their coming will not just be a simple invitation. It's just a variation of the dates of the summons. Because if we invite them, then they'll start sending letters, and then it will be another 2-3 invites before they come.
Yeah, do we have a particular date when we are supposed to resume as a committee? Are we set that date yet?
We had proposed around the third week of January, so that we also allow our staff to take some leave, and also our partners, the OAG, ISPAC, they can also take a break, be done with their NDR reports, so that by the time we come back in January, we are ready for the marathon that goes up to end of March.
Third week.
Chair, just for clarity, I agree with Mwenda. We should find out from the Secretariat when are they expected to resume. Then from there, we agree how we can work. Because I know most government officers are resuming
Monday
on that.
the 19th.
They're supposed to resume on
Monday the 19th.
19 January.
There's a committee decided on 19th January.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically
That's the second week.
That's a third week, more or less a third week.
Second.
I think it's fair for everyone. I mean, we also have grassroots activities. These clerks, or some of them, they have to take leave.
Okay.
Because I don't know whether you guys can carry forward leave, or you can get paid in lieu of leave days not taken.
They must go.
And I believe even our partners, OAG, Patrick, I know you guys must also go on leave.
Chair, I will work up to the end of the last day of the year, so because you have to receive the reports when you are registered.
Yes.
So I need that break. It's going to be very important for me.
Yes, those two.
Because I'm alone in this committee,
Yeah.
and I have to be here when you sit. So I really appreciate.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
So 19 is okay.
For our workers, they must go on leave. You know, they have families. There are some who don't want to go for leave, but we must compel them to go for leave because they have families.
Yeah, but we had agreed that our schedule for the substantive hearings this time round will publish them in the newspaper to avoid these monkey games that governors are playing. We'll have a schedule in the newspaper that the public knows about. And we had also said, I don't know whether you have drafted this letter, that we're going to do a letter to each governor individually, not to COG, addressing a governor as a CEO of an entity, and making it clear that we don't expect them to go on leave during that period when Parliament is supposed to consider their written responses. I mean, unless it is maternity leave, but if it's any other form of leave, we expect them to be available between January and March, and we are also saying that postponement shall be limited to once. Yeah, because we have always given 3, I think twice. We invite, then you don't come, we invite, and then, so please, let's make sure that by the end of this week, that letter has gone to governors, not collectively, but individually, so that they know that January, February, March, they must expect to appear before the Senate. Governors and chairs of county assembly service boards. So we agree that for Kiambu, we will change the date of appearance. Is that the same reason that has been adduced by Mombasa?
Yes, Chair, it is the same reason.
It's the same reason. So can we just use the same resolution? Senator Lelegwe.
Yeah, Chair, are we varying the date now to a specific date in January, or we are meeting again to set up another date to vary the summon?
I think the dates of appearance, we can deal with that administratively because we are not lifting the summons. We are just changing the dates subject to the parliamentary calendar. But in principle, those should be the entities we deal with in the first week. We must dispense with all summons for prior year in the first week before we get into the substantive audits.
Which means our advert, on the appearances, on invitation, we should have.
Let me help you.
Okay.
That's okay. You're waiting for him to.
Yes, question.
Yeah, I thought.
Please proceed.
Maybe, Chair, then the Secretariat should give us how many entities, including Samburu and the rest, are supposed to appear. And then in the first week of 19 going onwards, you schedule. And then the advert that will come out of the newspaper for the normal appearances should be after first in, first out basis on based on the summonses.
Yes, because I think there are almost 10 entities now, executive plus assemblies.
I was just commenting on what you're saying, that would have an advert giving the new schedule for 24-25. But then the summons would be for 23-24 financial year. So the letter should be specific that you're coming for to look at the summons, and then also on the same date to respond to the audit queries for 24-25. So that they don't have to appear twice for the summons and for 24-25 financial year. I think that can be done together, so that they appear just once for the summons and for the queries for the certificate of 24-25.
Yeah, I know you say that because of the shortage of time. The neater thing would have been to dispense with the summons before we get into the new report. But since the clerks have already started working on a simulation, on how we can cover the 47 executive, cover the 47 assemblies by 31st of March. Definitely it will require some work through subcommittees in most of the cases. So let's see how that fits in, whether we can do a separate meeting for summons and a separate meeting for substantive issues. If that is not possible, then we just combine as you have proposed. Senator Lelegwe.
Chair, there appears that some of these entities, since I joined this committee in March, there are other counties who have never appeared before, and we have considered their reports when they are not here, their written submissions. And even following up on their implementation reports, we are not able to follow those reports with them. So what happens if a county does not appear to give information on the auditor's report of 2023-2024, and now we are considering the 2024-2025 reports in January? Because I'm sure there are those counties who will not have appeared even after we give them summons, and there will be several of them. How do we consider?
Yeah, this year was a bit of a tough year, and I want to congratulate members that we've been able to balance and still remain relevant, because we were afraid that counties would say that constitutionally they should not appear before the Senate after 31st of March. But I think we have established a method of work that makes governors know that they must appear. It is now upon us, when we are writing our reports, if we have invited, re-invited, summoned, and they fail to appear, it is upon us, when we are writing our report to the House, to come up with the highest, what are they called? What power do we have in terms of reporting back to the House? That's a question we must ask ourselves. Because one thing we have also not done, which ideally we should do when we resume, is that there is a report that needs to go back to the House. In fact, clerks, I saw the Chute committee bring a progress report. So even as ideally we should have done a progress report before the House rose, where we highlight some of the key issues and some of the challenges that we have gone through. I think that has become the mode of operation for most of the committees. If there's even I think CPIC must have just done a progress report in March. The other thing I've seen CPIC do, which we'll consider, and perhaps I don't advocate for it, I saw they wrote to my governor and asked her to submit written responses accompanied by a sworn affidavit. Of course, senior counsel, that can work in terms of law, but it is not a very good practice in terms of the political oversight that we are doing. Because once they've submitted, accompanied by a written affidavit, a sworn affidavit, it is taken that they have responded. Should we do oversight in that manner, that we limit ourselves to written responses accompanied by sworn affidavits? No. In March, we allowed written responses because of time. Remember, we only became a committee in February, isn't it? We were reconstituted in February, and we are still grappling with how to maneuver. But I think now we are clear in our minds. We'll start working in January. No one is contesting our authority. So this coming year, everyone must appear. So Senator Lelegwe, for those who will dodge us for one reason or the other, let's deal with them at the report writing. Let's take the harshest report we can to the House for adoption. And let's find ways of imposing sanctions on those counties that don't appear.
What is the position of Tana River, Chair?
Tana River, yesterday the resolution was for summons to be issued. What was the date proposed by the committee?
Next week.
On which day of next week?
We did not take a date as a committee. We were left to do it.
I want to propose that we do not vary the decision. The summons for Tana River must be compelled to appear through summons. And I think there was also Embu County Assembly. A decision was made on Embu County Assembly.
Yes.
That we are not quashing the summons, but we just vary the date to maybe to fall within that first week. Because it would mean that if the letters have not been dispatched, then it would mean that we'll need to be here on Friday next week. And Friday next week is not a very good day. Nobody will be around. So we can just vary the date.
Yeah, can on Embu and Tana River stay as is administratively until maybe at the end of this week you can guide, maybe on Thursday.
Okay, fine. As you said, administratively,
yes.
I mean, if they can dispatch the letters today,
yes,
then it is possible to get 3 members to hear them. So I'll take your advice on that. Now, I think on Thursday, we expect to deal with the summons for Isiolo, and I believe that there is no change. Things still stand as they are.
Yes, the summons for Isiolo went, but I got communication this morning that they are writing a letter requesting for rescheduling.
Do you have a letter?
No, we do not.
So we cannot discuss it until we have it. Yeah. So any other entity that was to appear, and
we have a letter from Machakos County Assembly. What on Thursday 11th.
What was the thrust of their
County
request?
Assembly? If you allow me, I'll read it. We refer to the earlier communication referenced and dated 2nd December inviting the County Assembly to appear on 11th December 2025 for consideration of the Auditor General's report for the financial year 23-24. We respectfully wish to request a rescheduling of the said appearance to a later date. The request is necessitated by the following reasons. 1. Transition on the office of the clerk. The County Assembly recently made some changes in the administration and management of the Assembly, and in the process appointed a new clerk. Therefore, additional time is required to allow the new clerk to adequately familiarize himself with the relevant documents, issues raised in the audit report, and the status of the management responses. Number 2, ongoing verification of audit evidence. The Assembly's technical officers, together with officers from the Office of the Auditor General, are still in the process of verifying and considering and consolidating audit evidence and supporting documentation required for submission to the committee. This verification is very critical to ensure that all information presented are accurate, complete, and responsive to the committee's queries. In view of the above, we kindly request that the committee grant the Assembly additional time to finalize the ongoing preparatory processes. We are committed to appear before the committee fully prepared and with all requisite documentation to facilitate a smooth and productive engagement. We request that the appearance be rescheduled to a later date convenient to the committee. Kindly be assured of our continued commitment to transparency, accountability, and constructive engagement with the Senate. Signed by the Acting Clerk of the Assembly, Peter Mada.
That's Machakos.
Machakos County Assembly.
I think the Speaker Machakos called me, and I think it's been in the news that she's been undergoing some impeachment attempts. It's either the Speaker or the Clerk. There have been some impeachment issues in Machakos. The Speaker of Machakos is a Vice Chair of CAF. I think so. She's a Vice Chair of CAF. So we have that relationship at CAF level. And so I'd asked her to put in a formal request so that it can be considered by the committee. But perhaps even if you are to give another date, it should still be that first week of January. Because I think she explained to me she has a new clerk that is just a month old, and I told her let that request come to the committee for consideration. So do we, because there's really nothing else short of summoning her, but since she's also a leader of CAF, sometimes we want to encourage members of CAF to come before this Senate. So we don't, sometimes I don't want to use a very heavy stick on them. If they make a reasonable request, we could consider and grant an appearance in January, the first week. Do we concur?
What we are receiving in the third week of January.
The first week of our business.
Okay.
So it will be busy. It will be summons. It will be all these entities that will not have responded satisfactorily. We all lump them in that first week, even if we are processing work through subcommittees. And if it's subcommittees, we can have 4 meetings in a day. So sorry,
let's proceed.
So I think let's proceed with that basis, that any request on the entities that we invited seeking postponement can be pushed to our first week of operation. So that would apply to any other entity that will not have dealt with in detail now, because it's already 12 o'clock, and I think there's an entity that is outside waiting to appear before us.
Yes.
So is there any other guidance you need in terms of work planning? I think we're agreeing in principle that we conclude our work this Thursday with the appearance of Isiolo. Then the summons for Tana River and Embu, as advised by Senator Cherargei, will advise on how they can be served. But substantively, we come back on the 19th for the next financial year.
Chair, is there any other activity for the committee other than the commencement of committee meetings on 18th? No. Was there any training?
Oh, yes. Now, even though I've not discussed this with the clerks, in terms of a foreign visit, I had proposed. This is still very raw.
We can discuss it maybe after we are done.
Yeah, but let me give the...
Because of other stakeholders, let's finish, then we can...
No, let me just give the principle. The principle was this. Many a times we go for foreign visits where we learn nothing. You go there, you find someone from CPST telling you about emotional intelligence and how to chair meetings. I proposed to the clerks to look at jurisdictions with similar structures of decentralization. And one was South Africa. In South Africa, they call it School for, I think they've got some School for Decentralized Government. They have organized some programs for clerks previously. There's a gentleman called Gishana. I think Gishana, Dr. Gishana, he liaises with them. So I'd proposed that can we do a foreign trip where we are going to interact with people at our level. We are not going to sit in a boardroom to be taught by people from Kenya. And South Africa was one example where we could go to the House of Provinces, we could go to one of the province, interact with the premier and the structure. House of Provinces is at the national level, isn't it? It's equivalent of the Senate. So a trip where there is true value, there is networking, and there is true learning. Instead of going to Arusha here, Kwanza Arusha, someone like Sifuna cannot be allowed to go in at this point in time. Atabaki huko.
Chair, is that true? I thought it's only Babu Wino. I think Senator Sifuna.
He's an activist. He has been
He's a friend of Larry Madowo. So I think that was a principle, and I think you had shared something which I've not reviewed. So we can discuss the details internally, and I know since you sit in the commission, you'll also assist us in getting the right linkages. But other committees, I think, are traveling around this time. I think devolution committees in Dubai. First week of February. That's the second batch, but it's going to South Africa. I went for the one in South Africa. We are being taught emotional intelligence, things that are not useful. So thank you for that intervention. We shall discuss. Now let's go to the next agenda, which is a meeting with the Nairobi County Assembly. Can we get a brief? I think let's go straight to. Oh, sorry.
Chairman, before we go to Nairobi County Assembly, we had other entities which were scheduled to appear today, and we had asked our regional auditors to be here, and they're in the room. Okay. Maybe we can deliberate on that.
Fine. So which regional auditors are here?
We had, initially in the morning, we had the director from Mombasa, Mr. Opar. But then it became apparent that the meeting is not happening. We asked him, okay, he came to the office, we asked him to leave. Mombasa County Assembly. Opar was here.
Okay.
So we have Wajir. We had a representative from the region, Mr. Kiprotich is here. We also have Moranga, the deputy director is here. In the morning we also had Samburu. For Samburu, the director went back to the office. Now it became apparent the client is not coming for the summons. Maybe you can give direction so that they also leave the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
I think to avoid reopening this debate, if these entities were lined up to appear today and they have not appeared, they will have to appear in that first week of our operations, unless there's any specific observation that you wish to make.
We can start with maybe with Moranga. Moranga?
Okay. Moranga?
Thank you, Chair. For Moranga County Assembly, we had 5 observations. These are specific as per the Senate recommendations. Maybe I can go through the observations.
No. They are not here.
They are not here.
They are not here.
Yes.
So I think the decision is, should they reappear? And I think already we have made that decision, yes, that they will need to appear in the first week of our engagement. Unless, in your view, all the 5 issues have been addressed, because we'll also have to take that advice.
Chair, from the 5, 3 have been addressed.
So there are 2 residual issues.
Yes. Yeah.
Fine. So we'll still need to invite them to deal with the 2 residual issues.
Thank you.
Wajir?
Rotich?
For Wajir, only 3 issues were addressed out of all the issues which were raised. Out of, let me confirm. Out of 14, 3 were addressed.
So only 3 out of 14?
Yes.
So definitely we must set a date with them in January. And I know that you'll have, these are things we have discussed over and over again. What happens, who bears the cost when the auditors come and the client is not here? So maybe, I think the challenge was for us to amend the law because the clerk had told us that surcharge is complicated, but we need to think through because you have come from Wajir, you have come from Muranga, Opar came from Mombasa, the Samburu guy was here, and yet the entities are not here.
Chairman, maybe when the entities come in January, or when we have meetings with any other client, we can always request them anytime they want to request for a postponement. They must copy that letter to us so that we get to know that they're requesting for a postponement. That makes it easier for us.
And that's the importance, George and Tima and the Secretariat, the importance of the letter we have said we are sending to all the governors. So even request for postponement, we must define when it can be done. It cannot be a night to the meeting. Okay?
Even the request we are getting for Isiolo and Machakos to postpone, they are not copied to us, so I'm not aware. So I'll have to go and maybe call the auditors to tell them to hold, so that we make a determination whether they should come or not.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Machakos, since it's been tabled, we have pushed it to January. Isiolo, things remain as they are, because there's no, we cannot anticipate debate.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Fine. Nairobi. Let's go direct to the issue. Are we ready to process Nairobi County Assembly?
Chair, the auditors say they are not ready.
Auditor, what's the problem with Nairobi?
Thank you, Chair. The responses were brought yesterday after 5, so I've not been able to look at them.
Senator Sifuna, your county of...
Chair, the responses, it's good to be specific. They came after 7:30 p.m. Our registry is open because of the timelines that we have, but the responses came past 7 p.m. Chairman.
Senator Sifuna, let's donate our time to you for advice.
Chair, that is very, very disappointing to hear. But we as a committee have dealt with entities such as this before. So let Nairobi not be an exception. They must understand the importance of this process. It's quite disappointing, Chair. So we will accept the guidance of the committee, but they have to be told that that is no way to deal with audit issues.
At this rate, Nairobi is the biggest county assembly in this republic, and this is not, I think the last time they appeared before this committee, Alai was fighting with the speaker before the committee. So they've got a lot of internal issues. Shouldn't we compel their appearance by way of summons, the next appearance, so that it is not optional?
They are physically present, but the problem is the lateness of the submission of the document. So I don't understand how we deal with that. But for me, really, there needs to be a way for them to be brought before us as soon as possible for that conversation to happen.
What do you think, members? Because I don't think it will be too harsh.
I think if they are here, if they are present, you can't compel them to through summons because they are here. The only challenge is late submission of documents.
That is the issue.
Because how do you compel somebody who has appeared?
This could be the third or fourth invitation.
But are they present? Yeah.
They postponed over and over again. So they have appeared, but they have failed to satisfy the committee. You know,
you give them directives to what they need to do, and then give them another date. I think.
Okay.
Chair, for me, I would request this committee to prioritize them when we resume in January. Because then the issue of submission of documents will not be an issue. The Auditor General would have had time to go through them. So it's just for them to show up so that we can engage. So I think when they come in, we agree with them that we are going to front load them first week when we come back, and that there can be no excuses. We will have the responses there. The auditor would have gone through them. It's just now to have the actual conversation.
Okay.
Chair, I think it's good to hear from them. What are the reasons behind them not submitting the documents in time? Then we can make a ruling from there. I don't know.
Okay. I hope they're not going to come with blame games that we send. Sometimes they want to turn against the auditor, but we will be guided by the position of the Auditor General because we think that is the the factual position. So it is upon them to explain. So can we call the entity so that we make short work of it? We don't have to go through the issues if that is the situation. Sergeant at Arms, are we ready? Fine. I want to welcome the delegation from Nairobi County Assembly to the Senate, to this meeting of the Public Accounts Committee of the Senate. We were supposed to start our meeting at 10 o'clock, but we do apologize that we have spent a bit of time going through your reports and getting an update from the relevant stakeholders. Now that you're before us, we shall start the meeting formally with a word of prayer, and I'll ask my Vice Chair, Senator Mwaruma, to lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, all. Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold the abundant favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to leadership positions in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our charge. Amen.
Thank you, Senator Mwaruma. The agenda of our meeting today is as was revised earlier, and now we are at the segment where we are meeting the County Assembly of Nairobi City to interrogate the status of implementation of unresolved issues raised in the Auditor General's report on the financial statements for the financial year 2023-2024. That is the main agenda, and then the other is AOB. Could I get a proposer from the members on the agenda? Chair, I propose. Thank you, Senator Wambua. Could I get a seconder?
Chair, second.
Thank you, Senator Lelegwe. Next is a quick round of introductions for Hansard purposes, starting with the members of the Senate present. Let me again start from our Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lelegwe Tumbesi, Senator for Samburu and member of this committee.
Madulo is your member.
I'm John Maruma, the Senator at Taveta, Vice Chair of this committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi. I'm a member of this committee. Thank you, Chair members. My name is Enoch Wambua, Senator Kitui, a member of this committee.
Chairman, my name is Okongo Mogeni, Senator of Nyamira, and a member of this committee.
And Moses Otieno Kajuang, I chair the committee. I'm the Senator from Homa Bay. The clerks who are supporting us.
Good morning. Good afternoon. George Otieno, Committee Clerk.
Chair members, Chris Pastima, Committee Clerk.
Good afternoon, Chair members. Malcolm Gugi, Legal Counsel.
Joan Mahinda, Research. Charlie Msimbi, Answered.
Morning, Chair and members. Afternoon, Chair and members. John Chere, Sergeant at Arms.
That's all from us, Chair.
You're welcome. The Office of the Auditor General.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. I'm Ricky Patrick, the Liaison Officer.
Good afternoon. My name is Judy Mande, Deputy Director of Audit, Office of the Auditor General.
So, Chairman.
You're welcome. From the National Treasury.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Senators. My name is Level CPA Kimadi Kwiriga from the National Treasury Liaison Office.
Karibu. From the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya.
Chair and honorable members, my name is CPA Charles Tunga, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, Liaison Officer. Thank you.
Karibu. From the Controller of Budget.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Gilbert Gachanja from Office of Control of Budget, a liaison officer attached to this committee. Thank you.
You're welcome. From the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
We have apologies from them.
Okay, fine. Those are noted. Now let's go to the other stakeholders. Did we invite the County Assembly Public Accounts Committee of Nairobi City? Do we have the chair of the Public Accounts Committee of Nairobi City County Assembly?
Chair, the PAC chair is not here. He conveys apologies.
Okay, but clerk, did we send an invitation to them? Yes. Okay, fine. We'll proceed then with the chair of the County Assembly Service Board as well as the clerk. Let's get introductions from the County Assembly of Nairobi, starting with the Speaker of the County Assembly.
Chair, the Speaker of Nairobi City County Assembly, Right Honorable Kennedy Okeongondi, is not here with us currently, though he was here. He has been here from around 10 a.m. My understanding from communication with our clerk.
Before you go far,
yes.
Do we have the Speaker of County Assembly, who is the chair of the County Assembly Service Board of Nairobi? Is he present?
He is not present, sir.
Okay. Members, do we have a meeting? The Speaker is the chair of the County Assembly Service Board.
That is right.
And if that position is filled, then that person must be here. It cannot be delegated, because if we go that way, then a governor will be sending the CEC for sports before this committee. All of you are strangers until the Speaker goes on record. Now, this is unprecedented. Senator Cherargei, go on record, and then we agree on how to proceed.
Chair, through you, Cherargei Kiprotich is my name, Senator of the Republic of Kenya from Nandi County, and also a member of this committee.
Now, we have a very unprecedented situation that even at the point of introduction, we don't seem to have the right parties before us. Every county assembly has a county assembly service board that is chaired by the Speaker. I think we take judicial notice that the Speaker of Nairobi City County Assembly has not been impeached, has not been removed. He is in office. Who is this gentleman sitting right in front of me, where the Speaker is supposed to sit? Who are you?
Chair, with your permission, my name is Commissioner Maurice Ochieng. I'm the 4th board member of the Nairobi City County Assembly Service Board. Thank you, Chair.
Why did you choose to sit there, where the Speaker usually sits? Is this a coup?
Chair, this is not a coup, and I hope my Speaker does not take it so, but with your guidance, I could oblige and vacate it.
If you are not the Speaker, leave that chair, because the fire that is coming from this side might injure you.
Well guided, Chair.
Chair. Okay, honorable members, this is, and this cannot be reduced to a joke, because this is a serious constitutional matter. Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Chair, and I thank you for saving the commissioner the fireworks. You know, when he sat there, I turned to my friend who is the senator of Nairobi and asked him, when did the commissioner become the Speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi? And he confirmed he is not. Chair, this has never happened before. It's happening with the Nairobi City County Assembly. I have never seen a thing like this before. And Chair, the simple thing is, we just can't engage. That's what it is. We just can't engage. They can't even go on record. Who will put them on record? The Speaker is supposed to introduce his team. The Speaker is not here. Who will introduce the team? Who will take responsibility of the leaders who are appearing before us today if the Speaker is not here? Chair, as for the consequences of that action, then I will yield to the decision of the committee.
Remember, this is an assembly that manages 2 billion Kenya shillings in terms of budget, almost the budget of some of our smaller counties in size. So we must address it from that perspective of seriousness. Senator Cherargei.
Chair, I think this is unprecedented. We have never been in this terrain. I want to repeat, I think this will be the 10 million time that the accountability aspect is a constitutional obligation. Article 229 of the Constitution is very clear. Leadership and integrity and even national values. One of the tenets of leadership is accountability and transparency. Number 2 is shocking from Commissioner who has indicated that the Speaker was here. This was not a social call. He was not coming for birthday party. He was coming to account for more than 2 billion that is allocated. So he cannot cherry pick, he cannot choose and pick. The speaker is my good friend, but I find that as a contempt towards the Senate. Because if he comes and chooses to come and live at wish, then how can we interpret that? That's a contempt against this committee chair and against Parliament, and also violation of the Constitution. Because what we are doing here is the accountability which is backed by the Constitution. And Chair, all of us who are seated here are busy. We have so many issues to do. It is not that we were idle, that is why we are sitting here. So Chair, my proposal is very simple. We respect the members who have appeared alongside Clerk and Commissioner who are here. But Chair, so that it is slow but painful, we disengage from this meeting, is adjourned, and direct that the Speaker appears through summonses at the earliest time possible under Powers and Privileges Act and any other consequences. You know, in court they say ikue funzo kwa wale wengine ambao wako na tabia kama hii. So the Speaker should come here back through via summonses and any other consequences, as our legal team will tell us, so that we can account for this. And I think Nairobi being where we are based, it would have been easy for them because they are not traveling from far. I'm not saying they should not get per diem or the allowance, but I'm saying since they come from here, it should have been accounted for them, Chair. So, Chair, we cannot proceed. Issue someone says pronto, let him appear here, and he must, in fact, when he appears here, he must apologize to this committee. Because you cannot treat the Committee of Parliament of Kenya with contempt. And you know, I don't want to add other things because this ground itself, the contempt can bring serious consequences against the leadership in Nairobi City County Assembly. So, Chair, I yield back the mic.
Senator Kongo Mogi.
You know, Chair, we have been here since 10:30, transacting business, not having tea at the Mandazi. I heard, and I think the answer will bear me witness, the commissioner said that the speaker was here, and at some point he made a unilateral decision to walk away. Chair, I'm a very senior lawyer in this country. When I appear in the Supreme Court, even when the matter is listed for 9, I wait till I'm reached by the court, even if it's at 1 o'clock. It's not at my convenience, it's at the convenience of the court. We are sitting as a court of law here, with constitutional powers equivalent to the High Court of Kenya. I've never seen a governor behave the way the speaker has behaved. We get governors, heads of governments, who appear before us and wait patiently till we summon them to enter the room. So who is the speaker of the County Assembly of Nairobi to tell us he's tired and he has just walked away? Because I've not heard anybody saying that he fainted or anything. He just decided to walk away. I think this one, Speaker, we need to hit hard. We impose a fine, the maximum, and he should appear through summons in the earliest opportunity possible. And he should, before we hear him next time, we will need him to go on record and tender an apology. I yield.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Warum.
Yeah, from the discussion, Chair, it seems that engaging Nairobi County Assembly is not tenable. However, before you make a ruling, you can check on the seriousness of the Assembly in terms of preparedness for this engagement. Maybe you could ask the auditors if they received the documents in good time, and if they have checked the documents, just to gauge the seriousness of the Assembly, because it is very fashionable for Nairobi County Assembly to misbehave, not only in this Parliament, but also in the previous Parliament where I sat in this same committee. It is very fashionable for them to misbehave. So let's get to know if we got the documents in good time, if the auditors reviewed the documents, to gauge the seriousness of the Assembly, Chair.
The challenge we have is that the order for tabling is preceded by the oath. And there's no one to take the oath.
Yeah, I did not even say tabling, but maybe checking from the
Chair, Senator Sifuna, first of all, I have to confess that the Speaker is a friend of mine, but I have to register my disappointment this morning by the conduct of disappearing before the proceedings began. This to me, I will take the line of argument that has been taken by my colleagues, that in fact there is no entity before us. We treat it as a case of non-appearance, and you proceed to make a decision based on the law. But this cannot continue because there are important conversations to be had here in this committee, and especially about how we are running our affairs in Nairobi. The Assembly is a corollary of the Senate. We are partners in oversight, and we have had assemblies complaining that chief executives don't show up before their committees. So the Assembly cannot also be practicing similar things when we want to have a conversation in the Senate and the Speaker doesn't show up. It doesn't paint a very good picture. So as the area senator, let me just register my disappointment to the team. And it is compounded by the fact that he was within the precincts of Parliament but chose to leave. No communication was had to the chair or any one of us as to whether there was an emergency or anything. So unfortunately, to my friends from the Assembly, we can't see you, although we know you. But for me, there's no one there legally, and you will forgive us for that. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable members, any other enrichment of the submissions that have been made? This is a no-show, because if the leader of the institution is not present, then everyone else becomes a stranger. But I just wonder, if you don't take this matter seriously, how do you expect the county executive to take you seriously? And I'm not addressing the strangers now. I'm addressing the county assembly of Nairobi, because technically this is a no-show. How would you demand Governor Sakaja or any of the CECs or CEOs to appear before the county assembly of Nairobi if yourselves you cannot submit to the Senate? Appearance at the Senate is not prefecting the county assembly. It is not micromanaging the county assembly. The Constitution defines county governments as comprising of the county assembly and the county executive. And I believe the framers of our Constitution were deliberate to define the county assembly first before the county executive. And so it cannot be that the governor of Nairobi can sit on that chair and answer questions for 3, 4, 5 hours, but the county assembly of Nairobi, which gets 2 billion Kenya shillings that comes through the appropriations by the Senate, decides not to appear before this committee. I have not seen contempt of this level. And I've sat on this chair from the 11th Parliament. To date, I have not seen contempt of this magnitude. And I'm very disappointed that it is coming from our biggest county assembly by population, biggest by budget, and biggest by economic importance. Honourable members, this cannot be acceptable. And I think that the highest consequences should be pronounced on the head of the institution. He must take personal responsibility for this contempt. This contempt must be purged. And it can only be purged through fines or through summons to compel the appearance. Because if we were to leave it open, that we set another date, he might decide to do the same thing. So, honourable members, in my mind, this is one situation as unprecedented as it is. It is a situation that requires perhaps the heaviest application of consequences that is available to us. A fine, a summon, and if this continues, advise the Inspector General to find the Speaker and present him before this House. It is not our nature as a Senate to have an antagonistic conversation with the County Assembly, because we believe that the power we have is similar to the power you have. County assemblies are suffering from low self-esteem. You have the same powers that are available to the Senate. And if we have similar powers, then we must work in a complementary manner, rather than in a manner where we look like we are competing, or whether we look like we are fighting each other. So this is extremely disappointing. One, the Speaker has not appeared. He has chosen to do other things rather than to appear before the Senate. We already have information from the Office of the Auditor General that even the responses that we were supposed to deal with were sent to the Auditor General at 7 p.m. last night. That further underscores the casual manner in which Nairobi County Assembly is approaching this particular matter. Let me not preempt, because that consideration of the readiness of the Auditor General could only be made if we had an appearance before us. There is no appearance. So we may summon the Speaker of Nairobi County Assembly, first of all, to explain why he's not here. And if that explanation is not satisfactory, this committee can impose upon him that fine that is prescribed in law. I don't know whether there is any other directive or any other direction we can take with this matter, except expressing grave disappointment, reprimanding the head of the County Assembly Service Board, reminding the County Assembly that you have a duty and your powers similar to what the Senate has. But we are extremely disappointed. We are extremely disappointed that this level of casualness, the County Executive of Nairobi might copy it, and no one will ever appear before you. We have gotten very good jurisprudence from the County Assembly of Nairobi. In fact, the determination that constitutional timelines are not suggestions, that they are mandatory, arose from a matter that was before the County Assembly of Nairobi. And we thought that this would be an opportunity to build on that jurisprudence. I have had informally requests by the County Assembly of Nairobi for raising of budget ceilings. And I think in the past financial year, Senator Sifuna, you may have facilitated that conversation. And they got an additional 200 million. So when it comes to accounting, that is where you draw the line. We must also draw a line. And I think we may go back to the Finance Committee and explain to them the kind of contempt we are getting from the County Assembly, even after we have gone over and above to give them additional resources. Perhaps we might need to review or revisit those limits, because maybe those are the things that are financing the impunity we are seeing in Nairobi County Assembly. So, unless there is any observation, but now, Auditor General, just, I know this is going ahead, but just explain to us what the situation is with regards to even these written responses.
Chairman.
I just wanted them, now that we have expressed our disappointment and we are imposing the highest, but they also need to learn. We are addressing the County Assembly of Nairobi globally. They are not here, but we are now addressing them through public media.
Chair,
They are not here.
there's a ruling you gave earlier, Chair, with all due respect. These are no show.
These are no show.
They're no show. They are not here. And Chair, I want you to just think briefly about what the Speaker has done to you and to your committee. He's just come in, realize that the committee is taking time to deliberate on other things. He doesn't even know what we are discussing. And he feels like we are wasting his time, and he walks away. Chair, at that point, just down your tools and
Fine, let me stand down the Auditor General. But the fact is that in the last couple of minutes, we have been going through the detailed report of the Auditor General on Nairobi County Assembly. We have received a brief. And that brief, if you were to go into it, I think we'll be having serious problems with the County Assembly of Nairobi, because that the responses were sent to the Auditor General at 7 p.m. last night. A lot of issues have remained unaddressed, and I think almost 60% of the issues were marked to be referred to the EACC. But we will deal with that on a day when the Speaker makes an appearance. Honorable members, so we shall issue summons to compel the appearance of the Speaker of Nairobi City County Assembly. The Speaker will explain to this committee why he chose to pull the contempt card against Senate, an institution that has continuously supported the County Assembly of Nairobi, with a recent example of an additional 200 million that this Senate granted the Nairobi City County Assembly. I hope he will come with a compelling reason why we should not fine him and why we should not impose the highest sanctions against Nairobi City County Assembly. Administratively, we will work on the dates, but it will be at the earliest possible opportunity that the Speaker must appear before the Senate, and that will determine the course of action for the next activities. And I hope the Speaker is not trying to play games, that by not coming, then the year will end, and then now he'll be discharged of a constitutional responsibility of appearing. That won't work. We are following up on implementation of recommendations. That was not time-bound. What was time-bound was a review of the audit report, and that we already achieved by 31st of March. So if there's someone advising the Speaker that you can dodge the Senate, and then when it gets to 31st of December, he will not have to appear, then that person is giving the Speaker wrong advice. So unless there's any other matter to add, this is a no-show, and summons will be issued to compel Nairobi City County Assembly to appear. Any other business? There being no other business, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.